Hi everyone, this is Leena here. I'm glad to be part of the Around the Sun conference. Let's hope that the tough time that we are going through now come to an end soon and we are safe and strong. Okay, so I'm a programmer, I write code, uh, and one of the questions that I really am afraid uh, is when someone asks me how long it's going to take uh, for the task or the feature or the story that I'm going to work on. The reason being, it's a very puzzling question. Both the person who's asking the question and the person who's answering it knows that it's puzzling, and there is no correct answer to that uh, because it's always like this. We just with what we know right now, uh, we are assuming that this will get done by this time. But the reality is that it always takes more time than we expect because it's just an estimate. So, uh, myself and my friend, we were running a consulting company long, for a few years back, and then we realized that problem of estimation when we work with our customers, and we try to make the estimates right. We found that some experts are recommending certain formulas that if you apply this mathematical formula into your estimate, there's a high probability that you will get it right. We made very detailed plan, tried to accommodate every small thing that we foresee into the plan to make sure that okay, we are always right in the plan. And we also found there are some trainings available to get your estimates right. We took that, spending a lot of money. But the reality is that things always get spill over. What we expected to get done, it doesn't get done in the time that we uh, expected or the time that we've given it for. Uh, and there is, on top of it, the things that we thought will get done in this time takes longer than we expected. And on top of it, we identify newer, newer things to be done, right? Uncertainty, unexpected things are always coming. Okay. And the thing is that this is not just with the software, uh, that things we keep on doing things, we keep on building things, never releasing it. It's not just with the software. You can see this pattern everywhere. That we keep on we keep working on things, but never gets never pushes it out. That pattern is common everywhere, and you can see a lot of drafts, right? Some of the patterns that you can see, or some of the items that I think most of us can relate to, are draft posts, blog posts, draft talk proposals, drafted emails, right? Or unreleased open source projects. I think many of us can check one or more items from this that we have in the state as draft, right? And this it happens with software also. We build it for many months. It doesn't release no customers yet because we have not released it to anyone. And similarly, we write a lot of blog posts or we keep on writing the same post but never publishes it. And so on and so forth. So the what is the problem, right? Is there a pattern to this? Okay, one problem with this is that we all of us have heard of this saying that is 90% of the work takes 90% of the time, and the last 10% takes the 90% of the time, right? And that happens here. We see at the end when we reach the 90% of the work, we realize, oh, this many things are yet to be done, and we keep adding to the list of items to be done, and that list is never end, right? We look for perfection, right? We don't want anything to be missed out. And we say that, okay, we'll not release it unless everything is perfect, right? And and the last bit, maybe both of this thing, the last my problem and the perfection, maybe that is happening because of the, not maybe, it usually happens because of this, the fear of releasing it, like the unable to handle the uncertainty that happens when we release out something, right? But the self-doubt that we have, right? What is going to happen? Is it the right thing to do? So on and so forth. Because of what? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, we always keep building, but never releasing. Okay, and that's the same pattern that you can see with the software, with other things that is in the drafter state. So what's the solution to this? Is there a solution? There's some things that I learned. I'm still learning. I'm still practicing those, trying to improve it. That I'm going to share further. As per set coding, I think the fear is a main thing that why we are not doing that we expect to do, right? Actually, the fear is not the enemy. The paralysis that comes with that fear is the enemy, and you cannot get rid of fear completely. Everyone has, the reality is that everyone has fears, right? As said, Gordon asked here, how can we dance with the fear, right? It's not possible to get rid of the fear, and then you have to maybe enjoy that fear and work on that fear, work along with the fear, right? And how can we do that? How can we put certain guidelines so that fear doesn't come on the top? Instead, we still continue to push things out. Okay, there are certain things that we can do, certain things that we can try, and then which will work and which seems to be working. The main thing is time boxing. So instead of asking, so in the book Rework, DHH and Jason Fried asks a question. It says actually two things. One is that you should release when much before you are comfortable with it. Don't release it when you're comfortable. Release it much before you're comfortable with it. And the second thing is, and that's part of the fear thing. And the second thing is, you can ask the question instead of how long. You can ask the question, what can I do if I have to release? I have to start the business in the next 2 weeks, right? So time boxing usually works because the moment you put a constraint like a time, a lot of creative ideas come into, and a lot of things which we think are mandatory to do doesn't become mandatory anymore. They are not required anymore. You identify that if these are not actually really required, we can even do without this, and we can build on top of it later. It's not like we have to build everything and release. We have to just do enough, right? We have to do small chunks, which is enough for us to, for our customers to use it, for our readers to get value, and then we just have to do that, and we just don't have to do everything, okay? And keep shipping, right? Shipping is not just one time activity. You have to keep on doing it. Build something small, release it, and see what happens, and then that indefinite circle continues, right? You build it, you release it, see what happens, and then again improve it, and then that cycle continues. It's an indefinite thing, and it's all about balancing. What should do now, what should do later. Maybe certain things that we don't have to do ever, right? So that balance is a continuous activity. You cannot stop that. Okay, assuming that we can do everything and release, and that thought process has to change. Instead, we have to think, can we do it continuously. And this is a fundamental to lean. Lean is all about small batches. Lean is about continuously doing things, continuous practices, right? It's not like just do something once in a while and then never do it again, stuff like that. So it's about continuous practice and in small chunks, right? You can't do a lot of things at the same time, and that's not sustainable. So it's more about sustainability. And so I'll just share a few things that I learned from this. So we started when we were running the consulting company. When we realized that the estimates are not working, and there is no meaning in working on getting the estimates better because of the uncertainty. Let's apply the time boxing and the small batches rule, and see how it works. Actually, that actually worked to an extent. Most of the time it worked. The interesting bit that, at least in my opinion, that was the most interesting bit for me was, oh yes, we were able to release things faster and help our customers to go to market faster and then get the feedback from that. Apart from that, we also realized that that's the best way for our customers to realize that things are not going to work. We don't want to spend 6 to 8 months on something and realize, burn all the money and realize that things are not working. Instead of that, if we can we learn that in 2 weeks, can we learn that in a week, right? And that really helped our customers. Some of them were some of them were able to change their direction. Some of them realized that, okay, it's not worth building it, either because there is no enough market, or it's technically not possible, or it's not worth enough investment on. Okay, so that was the main thing that was actually a thing I feel is a huge thing that I learned. And I try to apply the same thing on my personal side also, uh, like doing things continuously and dancing with the fear. I started doing that with writing and speaking. Okay, I was very afraid to get into the stage and speak, or write something and then just publish something in Medium, right? The reality is that no one cares. There will be people who likes your work, and then they will definitely come back to you, tell, and then, okay, I found value in this, or they may come back with more their thought process or their experiences, and that's what is more important. What the rest of the world thinks about it doesn't matter. Is it actually adding some value to someone, right? And I started writing short posts, and then I was, to an extent, was able to dance with that fear, and then I was able to continuously do it. It's not like I published every day or every week, but now I'm not afraid to write something when I get an idea. I'm not afraid to click on the publish button when I think it's ready to publish, right? I don't keep on working and keep on it for draft forever. Okay, so that is something that I learned, and the same case with talks also. I started giving more talks, started giving short talks, so that I don't have to talk about a lot of things, and that this idea of small chunks and delivering continuously really helped me in that. So I think I am coming to an end. To summarize, can we really get rid of this question, how long something is going to take it? The reality is you cannot get rid of that, but you can change the perspective of that question. Like, instead of asking that question yourself, or rephrase it, instead of that you can rephrase the question, what can we do in this amount of time, right? What's the good enough thing, right? So small, every time when we have a big things, break it into smaller chunks, and then how can we release each small thing? Sometimes we feel that, okay, some of the smaller chunks that we thought earlier may not be needed at all. Maybe new things get added, right? But if you are always releasing in a smaller chunks, which is good enough, that's always valuable, because the key part is keep doing it rather than doing it once in a while, right? And keep building it, and keep building on top of what you've done, and always strive for progress, not perfection, because perfection, we all know that perfection is a moving target. What we think of a perfect solution today may not be the thing that will be a perfection tomorrow, right? So it is all about progress, right? And then achieving perfection, that is never going to happen, right? Because you'll always find things to improve. So always have progress, and some of the things may not work as you expected. It's fine, because you are building in small chunks, so it's a lot of time has not spent on that. That's a good thing. And always the key thing over here is the satisfaction of the customer. If you're releasing continuously, if we have updates for the customers on a consistent manner, even if it is small things, because those small things adds up. After a while, they will see a lot of things, and that definitely make them happy. And that is the key thing, right? You cannot release a lot of things, a big thing in a small amount of time, but you can do a big thing over a period of time, and that's what is more important. And that's all I have. And you can reach out to me if you have any questions. You let me know your thoughts. And thanks for having me. And here are a few references I forgot to mention. I would highly recommend these two books, uh, Lean Mindset and Rework, and a few quotes that I referred, which I found useful in this topic. That's it.